Welcome to Simple and Savored, Thursday Thoughts, Think Like a Chef series, where today, super easy. I can't believe it's actually in a cookbook, but it is. Mark Bittman's Kitchen Express. Really neat cookbook, very different. And today we are taking his inspiration of cabbage and kielbasa, or cabbage and sausage. And he's making a sandwich out of it, which is something you can do. We don't need a lot of bread, so I'm kind of bald guying this up and making it our own. Remember, recipes are a framework. Cook how you want. So, let's get cooking. Okay, here's what we're cooking. Sausages, and I'll explain what these are. And essentially we're just sauteing them in the pan to create a little more flavor. They're already pre-cooked though. And then we're going to be sauteing up cabbage with salt and pepper. I might add another spice here and there, but other than that, super simple. Okay, gonna get the pan going. And let's start the timer. So 30 minutes, that's what we're trying to beat. And we're kicking 30 minutes is behind on this show. So simple, easy, healthy meals in less than 30 minutes. Things are running from I think 9 to 22 so far. So these are a little fabrication of my own. I tried making sausages and stuffing them at one point, and oh my God, what a pain in the behind. And these are essentially the recipe of a sausage, pork, and seasonings. And I just form them into this. I pre-cook them, throw them in the freezer. So when we come home, all we gotta do is slice them up like this. So you could essentially saute the sausage just by itself and then add it to the pan because it's already cooked. Simple, simple, simple. Or just go buy kielbasa, go buy really any pre-cooked, or you could do brats in this. They usually come not cooked, but this is a step you could skip if you're really super busy. Pan feels hot. A little oil. There's the sizzle. And I'm putting them down by hand so they are all flat. And probably just brown one side to make it a little quicker. Like I said, it's already cooked. I'm just moving the oil around so it gets into the middle. The sausage is browning to create another layer of flavor. Now it's to the cabbage. And if you have never prepped a cabbage, really simple. It comes in its own wrapping. It usually has plastic on it as well. Just take the outer layers off. Get a nice sharp knife. Push it all the way through. And you'll notice there's a core here. So I'm actually going to do this. This is the simplest way if you haven't done this before. Now what we're going to do is essentially take the knife and slice that bit of core out. It's kind of tough. I'm just going to cook this whole head of cabbage. We love cabbage, and if there's anything left over, we will have it for lunch. Super simple way to save time and energy is just think about today, but also think about tomorrow. So slicing cabbage, you could cut this in another piece. Let me show that. This is a little better way to practice. So you're using your fingers under. Remember, never comes above the fingers for the blade. That one's done. And so with this, you can practice how thick you are cutting. You could cut it pretty thick and make it chunky. I like it pretty thin because it cooks quicker. And I just like that texture. One way to make it a little easier, just lay it down on its side. Make sure you're keeping your fingers back here. And I'm going to turn down the pan just a wee bit. Pan is starting to smoke. Whew, a lot of cabbage. It's so funny, I grew up and I don't know that I ever had cabbage. We had stuffed cabbage one time. Ugh, that was weird. So I've really kind of avoided cabbage until I moved to Chicago. And we would go into the little Polish restaurants and the Slavic restaurants, and they would have cabbage stuff. Oh my goodness, that was good. Okay, so these bad boys are nicely browned. So I'm just going to take these off the plate, or off the pan. They are nice and warm through. And then I'm just going to add the cabbage. We got some nice brown. See how that's nice and brown? That adds a lot of flavor. And this set of sausage that I made is brats. So it's got some really good, a lot of seasonings in it. Now if you wanted to, if you had an onion around the house, you can add an onion to this and saute it with the cabbage, or saute it. It'd be really good, caramelized onion. So caramelize that first, and then so to speed this up, I'm just going to add a little water. That steam just kind of intensifies the heat. Oh, I made a mess here. Let's see, we were going on about 7 minutes so far. And let's add a little salt. That'll help the cabbage cook down a little bit. Add a little olive oil. Essentially, we're just letting the cabbage wilt and heat through. I'm going to use the secrets of the kitchen, the lid. If you're wanting to speed that up, just add a lid to it. I'm going to add a little more water. I did add the whole head of cabbage, and I have this on high at this point to make it go a little faster. Okay, so we're looking at the basics. We're gonna spice this up. I call it kind of bald guiding it up a little bit. Cook it how I like it, just like my haircut. I like it simple. So, something that goes really well with cabbage. You could just eat salt and pepper, it's great. A little apple cider vinegar, maybe a couple tablespoons. And we love fennel. It kind of has that not garlic, anise, licorice flavor, but it's really subtle. And then also love basil. And this is basil that we grew, not last year, a couple years ago actually. I found a bag in the and then just going to add the sausage back to it. It's already warm, it's already cooked. And probably give this another 3 minutes. Where are we at so far? See how my calculation is. 830 minus 18 is 22 or 12. 12? God, I used to teach 5th and 4th and 5th grade math. My gosh, you'd think I'd know how to subtract. It kind of goes against my grain, thinking counting up. But we're beating the 30-minute timer, so there's There's that many minutes left. That's all I need to know. All right, I think we're about there. I'm gonna take the lid off, give it a quick test to see if it's looking done. And as you probably have heard me say, you don't need to cook the crap out of your food. Keep the good stuff in. There's some that's more done that was put in the first batch. I'm gonna call this done. Turn the heat off. Gonna do a quick taste test. Tasting for salt. I can get a little bit of pepper. That anise is kind of melded in. The sausage flavor's in there. That's just right. Let's get this on a plate. So I'm gonna build the base with a lot of good cabbage. And just for the prettiness, put the sausages on top. Let's give it a final. And take a little bit of sausage and a little bit of cabbage. My wife says I take too big of bites, so I'm taking smaller bites. Oh my God. Give me a moment. Wow, that's nice. Thanks for joining us. Simple, easy, healthy. 15.5 minutes. This feed a lot of people. Now, Bittman in his cookbook says, take this and put this in a nice piece of sourdough bread, a nice bun. It would be really good too. Kind of stretch it. You could put it over rice. You could do a lot of things with this. Add some other vegetables to it, but this is just, it's plain and simple. It's really good. If you don't like cabbage, try this. Try to spice it up the way you like it. So as always, thanks for joining me today in the kitchen. And as always, check out our other playlists and subscribe. Push the bell button so you get notifications. And be nice to you. You're worth it. Let's see, we are about 4 minutes so far. Yeah, let's see, we're going on about 6 minutes so far. Let's see, we're